Morning traders, the S&P 500 futures pre-market prep. ATR is showing us that we are within range of all-time highs here on the daily chart. We're going to be in a little bit of a pause mode probably today until the FOMC meeting, and then Jerome Powell is probably going to inject the market with cheap money. And it looks like we could have all-time highs today on the market. Crazy that they would be lowering interest rates at all-time highs in order to get this market up and over this point, but that's the way it plays out. I'll give you the levels that I'm looking at on the way up for potential pullbacks. So let's take a look at the market. Morning traders, it is 6/19/2019. This is the S&P 500 futures pre-market prep. It is 4:50 a.m. in the morning, and we're looking at the weekly chart. If you're kind of familiar with some of my videos, been watching them long, you know that I always start here on the weekly chart, and just going to show you this right here. So yesterday we created this P distribution. What this usually signifies on volume profile is that we have basically liquidated the short positions, and now it's balancing up here. So you get this move up, and then it starts to form this P formation up at the top. And so most of the trading is up here in this bar. This is fairly thin through here, but you do have this big level right here. This 15 level right here is pretty decent on the downside. I'm kind of careful about this 10 level. When you look on the smaller time frame, there's just not really a whole lot there. There's something definitely across the 7 level on this lower time frame, and then you have this 28.98 level down here, and 28.92. I believe that might be the end of the range extension. It's the bottom of this candle, I believe. And on the upper side, we're running out of levels pretty quick here. You've got something here, right? Of course, you got where it stopped at 29.37 yesterday. You've got 29.40.50 right here. There is 29.49.75 right here, and then this very top one right here, 29.58. I'm really reluctant to call anything in here. This is 29.45, but it does match up with the top of this candle. And you can see that you've got the bottom and the top of this wick right here at 29.42. So you may, push up from 40 to 42 and have another pullback right there. But that's the weekly chart. If you notice, I spent a lot of time on the weekly because you can pick levels of volume from the weekly and actually trade them on the intraday, because it's about these volume levels. In the end of the day, when you're trading up, you're gonna the arrow all over the place. You're trading up, you're running into these volume levels, and it's just price. The scale really doesn't make any difference. On the daily, so the ATR has moved up. Our top of the range is 29.56. Hey, it's early. 29.56, and the bottom is 28.92. You can see that this is the bottom of that candle as I was talking about, and that sits right there at that 92 level on that node, 98 level right here. You have the P distribution right here with this move up, and really the extreme is just the top of the market, and I could see them getting really excited and actually trying to push for the top today if the Fed comes through with lower interest rates. 29.58.50, 29.49.50 right there on that guy. I mean, there is something right there, but take a look. You've got two tops right here. You've got a bottom right here and a top right here, and this is the 42 area that I said right on top of the node, and 40 is right here. And then look how this nice little kind of close of the candle, and the wick of this one right here is sitting right here in this 37.38 level, 37.25. So that's why I like that kind of level right there. Let's look at the 240 real quick. So 240, you start to get this pattern. This is a bull pattern. It's like a pennant, and it's just going sideways, and you're just in this range. And so you have now this volume node that you're starting to build, and you're testing the top and the bottom of the volume node range. This is the P movement right through here. So if this falls back, look at this gap right here. If this starts to fall back, you could get a fast move all the way back down. There is some level right here at the 15, and we'll see that on the intraday chart. But these little nodes, they may cause some speed bumps or something like that. But I think you can get a pretty quick fall back all the way 29.04. It has some structure right here. You have, of course, this 29.12 level that has played a part. And if you take a look, that on like the two sides of it, I don't know how to explain this, but you have a volume node here, to volume node here, and a volume node here. But when you look into the gaps of the volume nodes, usually they have something to do with the previous trading areas. It kind of fills out the profile and trades around it. Anything else that I can see here on the chart? See how this is filling in right here, and this is in this gap right here. I hope that makes sense. The profile tries to always fill in the low areas, and if we look right here into this gap right here and look back over here, you can kind of see where it's trying to jump over that little gap right there. And then here's the node with this node, but it's trying to fill in this entire area. So curious how that, it starts to fill in the edges, and then eventually it'll kind of fill in, and you'll get a nice round profile. It's supposed to look like a bell curve is what it's supposed to look like, but you get these gaps, and they'll trade in here and start to fill in. 60 minutes. So on the 60 minutes, see this gap right here? This is where we're trading at right now. You've got this long bar, not much anything really kind of in here. You've got, what looks like it was a fast move right here. You got a gap on this side. There's nothing here. Look at this long bar right here. There's some thin pieces right here, right? So I'm kind of thinking, somewhere after 37, 35, right after this node, probably 37, from 37 up to 49, right? You've got this little gap right here, and all the bars on this side look thin. They're missing. So I'm thinking that if you get up over 37, it could be a fast move right up into the 49 area, especially if the Fed comes through and injects the market with cheap money. You could get a fast move up today, and we can bust out for early all-time highs and stuff like that. The market loves the cheap money. On the intraday, the blue lines are my scalping lines. In case I didn't say, this is the volume profile. This is volume at price. If I scroll over and kind of show you yesterday's move, look how thin it is down here. This is the P profile. Basically, all the shorts have to reverse and get out, and then you start to get regular balance trading up here at the top, and that makes the P formation right there. Pull this back. So here's that 15 area. So I said, hey, you got some volume on the way down. You got a pretty good gap. This is a fast move right through here. The bottom of this is the 10, 11 area right here. So somewhere between 15 and 10 and 11, you could potentially have a bounce back if you were to fall through. And then there's this node on like 6, 7 on the other chart, but there's not a whole lot here, right? But then once you get back into 2900 kind of area, and 98 was kind of like where the high point of the node is right here, you get this cluster again. So from 2900 to 2998, you've got this volume profile, and so that I would think that would be the bottom, and that's kind of the bottom of our range anyways. So that would be a pretty big move. You got some thin bars right here, right where it took off. So if it sells off for some reason and we're trading to the downside, just be aware of fast moves through some of these locations. So don't hold on to your positions thinking that it's just going, get out, let it go, get back in if it goes the other direction. Save yourself some grief because it may just fall real fast and you'll be on the wrong side of the trade if you don't have your stop in the right position. Hope that makes sense. Not much up here. We'll probably drift today until the FOMC meeting is my guess. We'll just kind of do a wiggling dead heart kind of move, whatever that the symbol is for the heartbeat, until the FOMC meeting comes through and you get the injection to the market from Powell for it to go higher. So only last thing on here is the symmetry. We saw this last night in the review chart and everything. So basically we're just sitting on this line, and until we get some juice, we're probably just going to chop around in these two ranges or whatever, and then we'll probably run to the upside, but not much on that chart. Trying to think of anything else that I can kind of give you. Again, if the scalping lines, if we get the injection of cheap money to the market, scalping lines might not stop the market. You may not get pullbacks off of them. They'll probably go through and then find support and be like yesterday where we were trading through them and then finding support on the other side, trade them through, find support on the other side. Looks like I got a random, I put that line there. So I wanted to show you guys this measured move right here. Let me see if I can find this line. I believe it's from here. So from this low to this high was one measured leg, and then if you move this over, you can see that you got two perfect measured moves right out of that sprint up right there. I'm always talking about the symmetry, and that's just another example of it right there. where you got a measured move, which worked just perfectly. I know it's probably almost impossible to see. I should have made it even bolder, but if I go from the top down to that leg right there, and then if I go from this leg right down here to the bottom of that, you get a nice little measured move right there. Just I talk about the 100% breakouts, and that's just another way of measuring it that some people do, doing measured moves right there. Thought I'd show you that worked out pretty good. It looks like you probably have another one right here. In all truth, maybe the bottom leg's a little bit more extended. So, different ways of measuring it. But anyways, that's the chart for today. If you guys like the analysis, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Anything that I didn't go over, anything you want to know more about, go ahead and add them to the comments. Be happy to talk about it. Great calls yesterday. Go see that video if you want to see how I described the breakout on the daily. I had definitely talked about the energy that had been built up in this area right here, which is what you get when you get a volume node, and then the breakout. And I just talked about the P formation where the shorts have to reverse, you get the fast move up, and then you start to get the balance area on top. So I guess that's it for the day. I'll see you at the end of the day. Good luck trading.